Writer's block is a pain in the ass for every single person who's ever tried to consistently write for any amount of time. It's an inevitability and it sucks. There's no eloquent way of saying it, it's just shit. If you've ever suffered from writer's block or you're suffering from it right now, you've undoubtedly tried to look up numerous ways of how to get through it. And you'll come across things like, you just have to write, you push through, break through the wall, just put pen to page, start typing, set times. It's just like, yeah, some of it works, other times it doesn't. Some things will work for one person, others it won't work for at all. There's no one way of getting through it. You'll even probably have come across countless quotes from other professional authors who have some opinion or another on the whole thing. All my love to Terry Pratchett. But his quote, "There's no such thing as writer's block. That was invented by people in California who don't know how to write." My man Terry, I'm afraid on this one you might be wrong. While writer's block might not be as doom and gloom as it at first appears to people, yeah, it's a thing. Either the muse hasn't struck or you've run out of ideas, you've written yourself into a corner, maybe you don't even like where your story's going and now you're stuck with either having to go back and rewrite everything or write yourself out of the corner you've put yourself in. Neither scenario is fun or particularly appealing. I've had to deal with writer's block a lot. And as anyone who's been waiting for the sequel to Baron can attest, yes, it's a real thing, at least as far as I'm concerned. I really didn't mean to go all George R.R. Martin on this one, I'm sorry. But with the amount of times I have pushed through writer's block, I can tell you that there are ways that work to push through and break the cycle and actually start writing again. Coffee is one of them. Maybe the first thing you'll hear when you're trying to find out how to get through writer's block is to just sit down and write. That's fine in itself, but there are some extra steps to take if you're going to find it really helpful. So yes, sit down and write, but make sure that it's a consistent time that you write. Say 4 o'clock in the afternoon, whenever you get home, 4 or 5, maybe you're a morning writer, whatever. Just pick a time and that's your writing time. Nothing else happens during that time, only writing for an hour, 2 hours, half an hour, just whatever works, whatever you can fit into your schedule, just get the writing done. If you're consistently writing during that period, then you're still making progress. Then when you actually feel inspired to write, that's just additional writing time and you're just making leaps and bounds in your manuscript. The method that I find has most often worked for me is, I don't think, one that you'll come across on Google. See, when I have writer's block, it's usually because I have too many distractions. Either I'm too focused on my day job, or I'm playing a video game that I particularly enjoy. Maybe I'm reading someone else's book that I'm super into. Or it's a combination of a lot of things. I just have too much going on to focus on the page. So that's why when I'm feeling that pool of many different distractions that's preventing me from focusing on my own manuscript, I make sure I'm in an uncomfortable, boring location. For me, this has been in numerous places. Like, I've written at a small table in a McDonald's, just gone to a park, sat on a bench and just been out in the sun, just getting sunburn while I'm writing. I've written regularly on the train during my commute. You don't know pain until you're trying to fit into a Melbourne metro when you're 6'5". It just, as long as there are no distractions around me, that helps. But again, coffee. So if you mostly write at home, but you find that you're distracted a lot while you're there, maybe that's the problem. You just got to get out. Like, go to the local library, go sit in the backyard, go to the nearest park. The real key to breaking the cycle of your writer's block is to first identify what's causing it. And like I said, with me, that's usually just too many distractions. Maybe another reason people get writer's block is because they're a little tired with their own style of writing. You might find that you're kind of repeating the same tropes, using the same descriptors over and over and over again, very limited range of emotions in your characters. So branch out. Hell, kill some people off, people that you didn't plan on killing. Just like, if something is not right in your manuscript and it's holding you back, get rid of it. Simple as that. I've been writing characters in my own manuscripts that originally were supposed to be much more important to moving the plot forward and weren't supposed to die. But things change. You don't have to stay committed to your original story outline. It can change. Sometimes, yeah, you do get attached to some characters. If they gotta go, they gotta go. If you're finding that your writing style and range of descriptions and emotions is probably a little repetitive at the moment, and that's a source for your writer's block, I definitely recommend getting something like this. It's the Emotion Thesaurus. I've got a bunch of these as well. We've got the Conflict Thesaurus, and I also have the Negative Trait Thesaurus. These are actually super useful tools that I have found to help me sort of get out of repetitive writing cycles. I'm honestly not trying to plug all these things, they just keep coming up and I do find them useful. And I also really like this mug from Maxwell Williams, not sponsored. Oh, one more, hang on, let me reach, oh, breaking things. Let me reach over here. The other thing that I find helps me a lot when I am suffering from writer's block is this little game, I guess, that I got years ago. It's called the Storymatic. Again, I'm not plugging this stuff. This is just, these are things that I've found helpful. Relax. What it is it's full of little cards, and it's essentially just like a short story writer's prompt. You pull out the cards at random, and it gives you a couple of situations and occupations or emotions or something like that. So if I pull out first a red card, and it says, nobody will listen. So that's one prompt. And then I pull out a yellow card, and it says, dog catcher. Okay, what can we do with that? And then finally, pull out one more red card, and it says invisibility. So from there, we can write a short story about a dog catcher that has something to do with invisibility and nobody listening. So while it might not be what you're actually working on, it's a little useful tool / exercise that I've found to just basically get the creative process going. I think those are the main ways that I personally have found my way through writer's block. So we'll wrap it up there. Hopefully you found something helpful. Maybe it inspired something else entirely that I didn't even say, but it'll help you anyway. So I'll take credit for that. Nothing beats a good old snug mug. Maxwell Williams, not sponsored. Yet.